We have a new story in our Be Seen, Be Heard Portland project this morning. We're taking a look at how permitting has caused a real nightmare for some homeowners and how the city's trying to fix an old and outdated system.
Fox 12 investigative reporter Ezra Kaplan is here this morning with us. Ezra, good morning.
Good morning. You know, for the Be Seen, Be Heard project, we go all over town to talk with folks about how they see the city. And at a food cart pod in Oregon City, I met Joseph Kelly. They had a pretty unique perspective on some of the housing issues that we've been hearing from others around the city. Take a listen.
Well, I did a major remodel on my own house, and it was a complete nightmare as far as dealing with the city.
And, you know, I listened to that and I wanted to know more. So afterwards, we gave him a call and asked if we could come by and see what he was dealing with. It was an eye-opening experience.
This house was essentially a teardown if I hadn't done this project.
It was the middle of the pandemic and the housing market was red hot. But the little house on Mount Tabor, well, it was a few steps beyond a fixer-upper.
We knew it was going to need a new foundation going into it. That was part of the reason it was still even on the market in 2021.
With keys in hand and building plans drawn out, Joseph Kelly was ready to break ground. But the city said not so fast.
From the outset, it took almost 6.5 months to be issued the permit from when I applied.
And from there, the delays kept coming.
It just seemed like at every turn, there'd be some issue with something.
And Kelly is far from alone. The city did its own polling last year and found that 58% of respondents said that getting a permit reviewed was too hard. And the hundreds of written comments submitted were overwhelmingly negative.
We've all heard the horror stories around the permitting process.
David Kuhnhausen is the interim director of Portland's Permitting and Development Bureau, a new office meant to streamline a historically Byzantine and convoluted permitting system.
Customers had to deal with up to, I think, 8 different bureaus to get their questions answered. The consolidation of these teams means that there's one door for customers to enter into to get a lot of those questions answered.
The new department launched July 1st of last year, and Kuhnhausen says that it will take time to unravel such a complicated system.
We've added more and more codes, more and more policies over the decades, and we've never really taken a look at what needs to come off of those requirements. You know, there's never been a right sizing until now.
It comes as the city is struggling to meet the governor's goal for housing development.
We can do better.
Just last week, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson and Governor Tina Kotek announced efforts to lower fees and entice builders to build.
We hear what those concerns are, and we are dedicated to fixing them.
But beyond the fees, the slow speed of permitting can increase already inflated construction costs.
Permitting delays probably cost me between an extra $70,000 to $100,000 on this project. Just because of delays, confusion, subcontractors leaving because they can't wait around for me to get this figured out with the city.
Kelly is a carpenter, and he credits his decades of experience in the construction world as the only reason he was able to pick his way through the process.
I couldn't imagine just being a normal, run-of-the-mill homeowner trying to navigate this system.
With a solid foundation now underneath Kelly's home, he's hoping the city is serious about giving their permitting process a remodel. Now, beyond just remodeling, the permitting office is also deeply involved in development and building new homes. We will be looking into what is being done to make it easier for builders to build more houses and just how much it costs in fees before a single shovel hits the ground. That'll be coming up in a couple weeks.
Wait, did a beautiful job on that house.
Yeah.
A lot of money, right?
He's put a ton of money into this. It's been a huge project, but it is pretty close to done, and it is a beautiful house.
And you're paying a mortgage while you're waiting for the permitting process. That's got to be really frustrating.
And not only that, but for him, he's a carpenter, and so because of the way that his work works, he was having to reject projects and not take on new jobs because the city was always saying, oh, it's almost done, it's almost done.
And then
his workshop
longer.
is in his basement, so it just was a compounding situation.
So it doesn't matter whether you're a personal homeowner trying to improve your home or maybe you're a developer trying to create some kind of housing, be it affordable housing or otherwise, they're going to face the same bureaucracy and the struggles in getting their permitting.
By and large, you're going to be dealing with the same organization, the same department with the city. The one difference is that there is a program called the FIR program. I believe it's the Field Issuance for remodels. And that's a program that actually kind of streamlines the process. It gives you an assigned inspector that you get to work with. The problem is not everybody is able to be involved in that program, and so it's only for remodels. So if you're trying to build a new program, a new building, you can't be part of it.
Wow.
It's a bit complicated, but we're going to be diving into that in our next story. It's one area where those who we talk to say there needs to be more opportunity to do the things that are actually working.
Well,
So
it sounds like they're at least aware of this issue, and they're working to streamline things, so let's hope.
They absolutely are aware of it, and you know, when we asked Mayor Wilson about this issue, he talked about some key things that they're doing, especially some new technology to try to really streamline the system.
Hopeful. Yeah, great. Okay, Ezra, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get a